And welcome to everyone. I think that Marta has now joined us.
Hola,
Hi,
Carla.
Marta.
¿Cómo
How are
estás?
you?
Fine. Ah, it's in English. Wow. Oh, let's see.
Yeah, it's in English.
Wow.
So let me welcome
Otro
you
más
to.
abajo.
It is a real privilege for everyone, including myself, to be
Oh my
with
God.
Marta today. And she's a very renowned, worldwide recognized, famous performance artist that has done multiple contributions on different places like New York and Paris and Buenos Aires. And tell us about your early beginning in here and when you came to New York, Marta.
Well, first of all, I went to Paris where I lived 4 years, and I did my first happening that was the destruction, where I destroyed all my work that I haven't done the years before. And then I came here to Argentina, where I am now, and I got a prize, the Tela Institute. So it was to go to New York and work there. So over there, I brought my work, the latest work that I done here in Buenos Aires, called The Long Shot. The Long Shot, I don't know if you've seen it at the Bianchini Gallery. That it has, bueno, you have pictures there, no? No.
No, what we're looking at right now is the Minu Code, which was commissioned, I believe, by the American Society, and it is from 1964.
Yeah.
So that must have been when you got to New York and you started, or perhaps you did this piece earlier in Buenos Aires. I'm not sure, but
No.
your very first performance is in Paris when you destroyed all your canvases.
Yes.
In conjunction with the Nouveau Realiste and with Pierre Astani, such a good old friend of mine as well. And that sort of triggered you into a whole different direction, no longer painting, obviously, and starting to do these things that made great relevance at that time. And they still have, they're timeless. So tell us a little bit about the Minu Code, please.
No, but first of all, you have to understand that from the matrices, I went to Minujin. In Minujin, I already have a television channel, and here in Buenos Aires, I did in a live, how do you say, program of TV open. I made it happen with horses, mattresses, bodybuilders, and all. That was the first transmission that it was on television, 1964. And then, so I became very much involved in that. And also I made it happening in Uruguay, 1965, with a helicopter in a football stadium, with lots of people were in 8 minutes, a lot of something, well, was happening so big that even I got afraid and I stopped doing happenings because they were too many things happened to me after this happened. Out of control was. The people got out of control.
It was very provocative, to say the least. Do you know, I didn't know that they translate Minnesota in English to mayhem. And it is kind of a mayhem if you look at the work itself. Recently, it was recreated at the new museum in New York, right? A couple years ago. Yeah. So that is one of these pieces that everybody remembers, and it would be great to bring some of the other ones back to life in New York.
But they are all destroyed. They are all destroyed because I didn't have money where to put those works, so I just threw it away until I was 40. I never sold one piece of art. I only lived on grants, on one grant after the other. But then I started selling my art when I was 43 years old. The sculpture that I did, the Greek sculpture. And now I do other things. But before it was not object. I did some erotic painting in Washington. But I say, first of all, the most important thing that I was 4 years completely inside technology, working just with technology and happening. Like I did 3 countries happening with Capra Mostel. And then I did the Minufone, electronic telephone booth. And then I done Minucode. That is now in the MoMA, so everybody who is in New York could go and see it. And then I did something else in Canada that was also full of technology. And then I stopped it. I became a hippie, as you know. It's true, as you know. Very, very much a hippie
We
until
all became hippies for a while.
everybody. But it's the hippie movement disappeared completely. It's like a race from the world, no?
Let me just read a little bit of background of the Minnesunda. It is an installation artwork that Marta did with Rubén Santomín, and it made a collaboration with Pablo Suarez, David Lamelas, Rodolfo Prayon, Florial Amor, and Leopoldo Mahler. And it was presented in May 27th in 1965 or 64 at the Torquato Di Tella Institute, which you were a great part of that movement as well, with Romero Brest in Buenos Aires. And then, like I said before, in 2015, it was recreated at the Buenos Aires Museum of Modern Art and came to New York City at the new museum, which was very and it was also displayed at the Tate Gallery in October 2020, and the 8-minute film is originally shot in 60 millimeters, has been part of the Museum of Modern Art in New York's collection. So people can go there. It's in the collection of the Latin American Archives, and it has been shown occasionally. I think in the context of other early media art, video and film installations, and or sound pieces. So on we go with the next image that is above. Can you talk a little bit about that one, Marta?
Let's see. Let me see. I don't see any image. No, I don't see it.
You don't see the image? Let me tell you what it is. It is another shot of the Minnesunda at the Museo de Arte Moderno in Buenos Aires. So we already talked about.
Yeah, but I don't know why I don't see the trans.
I don't either. I'm looking at them.
No, but it's without images, it's very difficult to talk about Minnesota. The only say that I can see is 16 different situations. The people one by one, they have to go from one room to the other. They have to move their body, enter inside a telephone that the door only opens if you find the combination. It's so many. It's impossible.
A lot. And I remember there's a couple sleeping, and there's all these televisions going on.
Now it is there. Now I see Minnesota. You see it too.
Yeah, I can see it myself too.
This is inside the telephone, so you have to push the button that opens a secret door and take you through a frigidaire. It's very strange. A forest.
Do you remember that we coincided in many instances in New York? And one time I had to pick up an article of Douglas Davis around art and the future on Wooster Street, where he was living in the loft of...
I remember.
Yeah.
You have a gallery there.
Yeah. And then I also published the Statue of Liberty on its side with the hamburgers in the Leica Journal in '78 that I edited in Los Angeles. And
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, you lent them to me. You probably, it's such a long time ago. Why would you remember? So many things have happened. But now if we move on, Sophia, I am already doing the kidnapping.
Kidnapping.
Yeah.
I kidnapped 30 people from the audience. They had to sign a paper, and I took them. But the actors, it was a homage to Picasso because Picasso died. So everyone has the faces of Picasso, makeup. And then I took each of the person during 3 days. I took like 30 persons to different places, like in the middle of Brooklyn and inside a theater, where the theater piece, the piece was in the middle of the piece, and they were blindfolded. Well, you see, my English is very bad, so.
No, your English is fine.
No.
No.
The situation
better than
so
most
different.
people.
What happened that the performance, each performer is such a complicated thing that we took the people, put it in a car, and they were blindfolded, and then they wake up by Ethan in the bed. You know, they took that, and he was in bed of a collector. He saw the collector in bed because he didn't know that somebody would arrive, and I don't know, so many crazy scenes that everybody in New York prepare those places because the kidnapped person is going to come blind, or I don't know how you say.
Blindfolded, yeah.
Okay, and
But
then
I
take
mean,
it away.
how did they feel about being kidnapped and taken somewhere else? Those people, were they shocked or were they
No, first of
surprised?
all, they had to sign before going out because it was at the MoMA. So they had to see the MoMA it was not responsible for that. And they do it because they like it, but they put it in a car without seeing nothing. And also they were abandoned in those places. But they love the places because every person in New York, who I told them that if they wanted to collaborate with me and prepare something, so they were prepared for that. Were very many things. It's too long to. That's the problem, that I cannot count every happening because it's too long. But let me tell you that I open in August 17 next year an exhibition where all those things are going to be described. It's an exhibition at the Jewish Museum, very big, that I'm going to have. So
Where is it? Where is it going to be?
in New York, in the Jewish Museum.
Okay, great.
Yeah. The August 17 until the next year, I don't know, 6 months.
Well, we'll all look forward to that one.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when these people were willing to be kidnapped, I mean, at that time in New York, everybody was kind of nuts. You know, everybody was a performer. Even the waiters in restaurants, everybody was a performer of some sort or wanting to be a performer.
And
so
even the actors, you see, the actors I find on the street on Fifth Avenue, I was looking at some person and I like this person and I said, do you want to be inside it happening at the moment? Okay, yes, no, yes. So I got 30 people, wonderful, just from the street to act and to work. Yeah. And you see the crazy thing, they opened to me the door for all those people, 30, and we ran inside the museum taking pictures without any obstacle. Like they were not somebody to take care of us. Nothing. We do what we want inside the museum. It's amazing. Now it will be impossible.
I mean, impossible. They just have an attack at the museum. So much violence around.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at this very provocative image called Frozen Sex of 1973.
Yes.
So, that one.
Well, because I was in Washington and I have a friend, she interested me because she was a prostitute that I love to listen to her stories. She was from Argentina but living in New York. So I say, it's something that is not the cover, frozen erotismo, that if you have one image, very dreamy, like in your house, and you see that, you become immediately interested in erotismo. So I did 30 painters, 16 paintings.
I mean, honestly.
So you see that and then you want to verlo.
The next one is... Oh yeah, that floating image is very mysterious in Central Park. That one I didn't know.
I don't see nothing. Yeah. This is an opera that I made in the Shell in Central Park. Over there you can see Taylor Mead, the friend of Andy Warhol, and many bodybuilders. And I made an opera called Heraclitan. The people singing words by Heraclito. And there was a travesti. This is a travesti. Bodybuilders and then angels who came. Then I took all the people from the audience already dressed in black, and where everything was black, like black champagne, black caviar, black bread, black caviar. And they eat that, but it was in the dinner was George Segal, was all very famous, Taylor Mead, very famous people all around the table, everything black. And the
What year was that? 74?
No, 73.
76.
No, 74, 74.
Yeah,
74.
yeah. Yeah, I wasn't in New York, otherwise I would have joined in.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Definitely. So, you know, what sense of a community, if any, connection to the Latin American community did you have at that time in New York?
Wonderful, amazing, because it was very dangerous on the street, but at the same time, New York was mostly empty, and the people who, like, all our friends were very friendly, and nothing bad happened. You were like friend to everyone, to everyone. Like, it was a big family of people from all over the world living in New York, all artists or singers or poets or musicians. You know that because you were
Yeah.
when you came. You know that.
Yeah. I started living there permanently. First, I was there for 3 years from 69 through 71.
Well, that was the best year, I imagine, because then became the punk. You remember after the hippies?
Yeah.
They became the punk, the Yuppies, and then come the punk that was much more aggressive. And at 8th Street, they were all there, but very inspiring violence. So the hippie movement died. Now you remember it died.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But curiously, those 3 years before I started doing the performance in 1969, 70, and 71, I was not making art because, like, we were a community. We all will be making the same drawings. We will be doing the same images, working with the slide projections and with overhead projectors on the wall. And the music was so much important.
Oh, yeah.
I even saw
the soundtrack was fundamental to those slideshows.
And all musicians were with the art. Like I saw in Steve Paul scene, Jimi Hendrix and Johnny Winter playing together. It was a bar that I don't know, it was there. And also we were going to the Fillmore East, and Janis Joplin were there. It was fantastic. We were all together, rock musician and
filmmakers, actors, bodybuilders, everybody.
Fantastic.
And I'm now looking at an advertisement from Stefanati, who became a priest. You showed it, Stefanati. Robert Stefanati, he was a friend of mine too.
That was very good because this is one analysis, when a study on the time. So I have, when the 30 persons were invited to dress like going to a party, sit down on the floor where I put some numbers, and I was giving like a talk with my friend Julian Cairol, and I have what is 3 TV screen, one from the past. So the people were entering the elevator, they were already filming, and when they arrived to sit, that was all we will show the moment before, you see, and then we were given a lecture, and I have 5 interruptions, so the time will be more intense. Like in the middle of our talk, an image or whatever, opera singer stand up and scream 1 minute. Then, like some couple, men and women, start to fight. 1 minute of fighting, and then they went away. Well, all until some thief arrived and stole the watches of the people. So all surprise that happened during the conference. So the conference was like, you could see the time, because always we stop talking and then we follow.
Can I ask you a question in retrospect? How did you land at Stefanati?
How? No, what about what you say? I don't understand your question.
How did you come to know Stefanati?
I don't know, because you see, it's very strange, because I showed before in Howard Wise Gallery. That was 50 West.
Oh yeah, Howard Wise, right?
Yeah, over there I showed Minujin, and then he left. I don't know what happened. Howard Wise stopped whatsoever, and first of all was Bianchini, 50 West 57. Then was Howard Wise, and then became to the same floor and the same address as Stefanotti. I could not believe it.
Yeah.
The years passed, and then the same address and the same floor, and the gallery changed 3 times.
Yeah, and I think that from what I remember, when we did the Latin American Spirit in New York at the Bronx Museum, and you're included in that show too, that I co-created from 1960 to 70. And I remember contacting Howard Weiss because he had shown a number of like really interesting early art.
People involved with technology, he
Yeah.
shows.
And it was Enrique Castro Cid from Chile who had these like early projections on a ping pong ball.
Yes.
And he said, I tracked him down. He had already closed the gallery. And he said, all that stuff was in his basement, clinking and clunking and biting the dust. So I don't know what happened to all of those works, because he must have had a treasure trove there, you know?
I remember her wife and his family. He was wonderful. I remember and then I don't know what happened with all that, because Castro Cid, he did paint it, but I did something that was also when I did the long shot, the first done in 50 West 57, everything was destroyed because as I didn't have the money to keep it in a place, so everything was destroyed. The neon, the everything that I got. So it's all my works they were destroyed. The Minujin now maybe it's going to be shown in New York for that exhibition that I'm going to make. But we don't know if we can reconstruct it. We try to transport, but it's the only work that I still keep. The Minujin. Everything else is always destroyed.
It's all destroyed.
I didn't care because I didn't have a place where to live or not. We live in a time very risky. Like
But
without money.
thank goodness you have an archive, and there's good documentation and good images that survive.
That's what they're going to show. Maybe some of that is going to be shown. Well, now in American Society something, but then in the Jewish Museum will be a lot more of those things.
Who's curating at the Jewish Museum?
Darcy Alexander. She's here now in Argentina.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tomorrow she's going back to New York. Yes.
You know, I worked there for a while.
Ah, yes. True.
Yeah. In the curatorial department, I was the fundraising for curatorial projects in when was it? 2000. Right after.
Well, you live in New York such a long time until now, no? Or you came back to Mexico?
No, right now I'm in Mexico, but I still have the loft that you know. You came there.
Wonderful, this long. So many stories. I remember
I know.
Many good exhibitions, everything was fantastic.
Exactly. So now I'm looking at the Estatua de la Libertad de Hamburguesas. There we go. Yeah.
This drawing is at the Guggenheim, and it's a project that I want to do maybe after the Jewish Museum, I don't know, but I like to do it in the armory, inside the armory if I can get it.
And that would be great. That would be great in the armory. Perfect.
I would love it, because it's very big. So it's all made.
The only problem would be the hamburger, the fire, you know.
No. You see how is the idea? The Statue of Liberty will be lying down, made on metallic, no? Then over there it will be fake hamburgers with bread and tomato and everything, all like 30,000 covering the whole thing. The last day of the exhibition, the people take one and exchange it in the McDonald's. You see, they will exchange that, but inside nothing bad will happen because it's all plastic outside. But the action is for the people to take those, and you take 4 hamburgers, you will get 4 hamburgers. But there has to be everything in 1 week. In 1 week.
Oh my God. That is major undertaking. You need a lot of people.
I want to do that.
You need as many people as you have in this image to help you set it up. See there on the top there.
Yeah, because I did already. I did many things like that. Like here in the city of Mar del Plata, I did gigantic roof with alfajores, de aire comprimido, and then the people took it and exchanged the alfajores in all the city and all the country. So now I want to repeat that idea that you have something like looking like real, but it's not real. You take it in your hand and you bring it to a real store and you eat the hamburger.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's a great idea. Why not?
Sí.
Yeah, like the Japanese when they have these plastic food in the window, so you know what it looks like. and it's not for real until you order the real thing.
Yes.
You could do something like that with get the Japanese to produce the hamburgers and the tomato and the slice and the cucumber and the pickle and all of that stuff. There's a second image here also of the Estatua de la Libertad.
Yes, I put in the hamburger. The fake hamburgers is covering the structure, you see.
Yeah.
But if, for the outside, it's going to be the firemen putting fire. But now I prefer to do it. I think it's very difficult to find central fire for that, so I prefer to somebody to give me the space of the armory. The armory space for that. We see what we do.
It shouldn't be that hard because this is a crowd. This is a crowd pleaser. People would go running to see it and pay a ticket. And here is a review of the calling it Eat Art.
At that time, that was in the Village Voice. This thing, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, I think that John Perrault was writing the art criticism Voice at that time.
What a beautiful the Village Voice does not exist anymore.
No, it doesn't exist. When it first came out, it had only 10 pages, and in the end, it had like 120.
It was fantastic. And also the East Village Other. There was another newspaper from the East Village.
And there was another one called Soho News.
Yeah. But that's much later. Soho was around the 90s.
Yeah, Soho came, that was in the 80s when the
Yeah, the 80s, when it became like...
when the East Village went Soho.
Yeah.
So here is Carlos Gardel, the Fuego.
On fire, in Colombia, I did that. Because he died...
Medellín.
Claro, la Bienal de Medellín, because he died in a fire accident, so I reproduced him 17 meters high with the hand in the top, like he used to do when he sings, and I covered him with cotton, and then I burned the whole scene, and all the people there was singing the tangos. So that was very moved. The people were crying and everything. It was very.
I see, like an homage.
At that Bienal was Ana Mendieta also doing something, and Carl André, and many other artists. It was very good Bienal, but then never did it. They never did it again, a Bienal, I believe.
Oye, Marta, excuse me, did you ever do something with Zulema Damjanovic?
Well, she was my friend, la amiga de mi alma, my age friend. Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
But you didn't work together?
No. We walked together, going to all our galleries, and we walk every neighborhood in New York. We always work together, but I love them. Yeah.
So now here we are looking at the Parthenon that has a long story that is very, if people don't know it, it would be nice to give a summary of the idea, especially since later, not that long ago, I think 2 years ago, it was in Documenta, right?
Yeah, that's the real size. But here in Argentina, what happened? The military, when breaks, they go away, and Alfonsín came. So it was the first Christmas without militaries, and so they forbid many books here in Argentina. So I asked the people who was hiding the books, they bring it there, and I have 30,000 books. Also, the editor's house give me the one they hide, because they have afraid he will be killed, just because he's talking about Che Guevara or talking about Mao or whatsoever. Or
Karl Marx, yeah.
Anybody, even also books in Russian. The medicine university here in Buenos Aires, they brought all the books they were for the Russian and put it, and they were hidden. Just because they were speaking Russian, he saw they were left. Just because they reading. You see, crazy. Those militaries do not exist anymore. I am lucky. Then the people I moved the Parthenon like this, and then because I want to lie down all the monuments, and then people grab the books. And in Documenta for 2017, I have books from all over the world, forbidden anytime, like forbidden in the past, forbidden in the present, but from all countries of the world. So every country sent me the forbidden books to Kassel, and I did that.
It was so amazingly moving that it would be in Germany, where, of course,
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
remember
but they burned so many books.
the
Yeah.
burning of the books by Hitler and the Nazis. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a repetition of history again and again and again, the same story, you know, censorship and burning books and sending people to camps and whatnot. So there's a couple of more images.
Yeah, because you remember that I wanted to do it for 40 minutes or at least 45. Because
Yeah, yeah, I remember.
I become tired of my past. I done so many things that I prefer to talk about my future. But, yeah.
All right. Well, it is now. We have about 10 more minutes. So you want to talk about your future?
Yeah. No. The future. No, I can talk about this piece because it's very interesting. How I was living in Argentina since 80 from the 80s, no? In 85, the people were so crazy about we own United States such a big debt that I say I am a queen in Argentina because I am, and Andy Warhol was a king in New York, so I had to pay to him the Argentinian debt with corn. So I took, I don't know, many thousands of corn, put it in his studio, and we did a performance that was turning around. And this is the picture when he accepted the corn and the debt was solved.
And then you brought it to my gallery, and I have a photograph.
Really?
Yeah, I have a photograph of you and I hanging onto the pedestal on either side of the diptych, and on the back there is an inscription by you. So
oh,
it was
you
like,
should show me. You should show me to me. When I go,
yeah,
I
I will send you if I can find it a scan of it, so you have it.
Send me.
Yeah.
Probably I will see you because I'm going to be in New York talking in the Isla. I'm going to be 4 days from the 18 to the 22. May. Yeah. So I will see you. I can see all friends there.
Great. So, what about the future?
Well, the future of the Statue of Liberty, that exhibition, and also Minujin traveling in Europe. And I am always working in new things, like I show you with this, what I am doing. I always coming back to matrices, and the biggest work, you see, that matrix that I am doing, you see?
Yeah.
I
Great.
work with this.
Super.
And also, I always work with the monument, like I down the Babel Tower, I don't know if you see there, the Agora de la Paz. I always do many monuments. First of all, I do the drawing, as you can see the drawings, and then I do the real project when it comes.
Fabulous. I'm so glad you showed us a little bit of your studio. Where is your studio?
Well, it's in the house where I was born, and then I don't know, but I didn't have a studio, nothing, but then came to me this house, and I was born here, and now it's all my studio. You see, now I'm doing this work that is called endemia. I start with pandemia, then with vaccination, and this is third one, endemia. I got to show that in the museum. It's thousands of this string, this pedacitos de tela.
Fabulous. I love that. I love
that.
Is that coming to the Jewish Museum?
Yeah. It will come. Yeah. So you will see it.
What a great idea! Brilliant. Pandemia, endemia.
Yeah, pandemia, endemia, global vaccination. I did also, and intuition. The one when the people start talking about that. Yeah.
Tell me, Marta, how does it feel to be working and living at your age in the place where your parents...
But Carla, you know that I don't have any. I don't feel like I have any. I think that I stop at 25 and I still have 25. The only thing that I don't like is that your body, you get more tired, you get wrinkles, and you cannot go up in the mountain. So I don't like that, but I have 25 years, always. I stop at 25 and I will never grow up.
Yeah, I think I stopped at about 36.
Yeah, you stopped too. I know, you stopped.
But I mean, has that studio, former house of your family, influenced you in some way or another, or made you like um, come to a realization of some sort of epiphany about life in general? No?
So, what was it? I don't understand. ¿Qué me decía? No sé, I don't know what me dijiste. Me fui mentally, I was in another planet. I get back to my own planet. I got Planeta Marta. Planet Marta, called Marta. So I go back and forth, back and forth.
Pues, but definitely, I think that we should say goodbye to each other with that idea. You're el planeta Marta,
Yeah.
y yo soy una galaxia en la que el planeta
hicimos la entrevista. Vos desde una galaxia, yo desde mi planeta. Vine para encontrarte y hacer esto para American Society, y ahora vuelvo a mi planeta.
Ay, ¿cómo te extraño? Nos vamos a volver a encontrar pronto.
Sí, seguro en mayo nos vemos.
En mayo.
Bueno,
Mientras
Carla,
tanto,
mucho
bye,
gusto de hablar con
besitos,
vos.
bye.
Besos para todos los que me vieron y a todos los que nos ven y todos los que nos quieren.
Y todo lo que vendrá.
El amor es muy importante. Okay.
Súper, súper.
Besos,
Bye.
besos. Chao, chao.
Bye.
Abrazos. Chao, chao.
Bye.